Behind the heavily guarded walls of Buckingham Palace, an unprecedented tectonic shift in royal power is quietly taking place. Sophie, the Duchess of Edinburgh, has just turned 60 years old. But the ultimate gift she received behind closed doors was not a lavish party, a royal portrait, or a glittering tiara. It was a highly classified, strategic move orchestrated directly by Prince William, a move that has left palace insiders completely reeling. William has quietly, deliberately approved a massive title elevation for Sophie's children. And the reason this has sent absolute shockwaves through the royal household is not because of a scandal. It is because this quiet move signals a ruthless, brilliant masterstroke by the future king. William is officially reshuffling the entire future of the British monarchy, deciding exactly who holds the power, and he is doing it right now while King Charles is still sitting on the throne. Before we dive into the highly classified details of this royal chess match and expose exactly what Prince William is secretly building, please take a brief moment to respectfully like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the unvarnished, undeniable truth hidden behind the palace gates. Thank you. To fully grasp the magnitude of what is happening right now, you have to understand the brilliant deception that has been playing out for over 2 decades. For years, Sophie and her husband, Prince Edward, have been the monarchy's ultimate background players. They never sought the blinding flash of the paparazzi. They never sold their stories, never leaked to the tabloids, and never demanded center stage. They simply put their heads down, did the grueling work, and built a bulletproof reputation. But if you look closely at what was publicly promised versus what Prince William has just executed, the contradiction is absolutely staggering. Back in 2020, Sophie sat down for an incredibly candid, rare interview. She looked the public in the eye and explicitly explained why her children, Lady Louise and James, were not using the Her H titles they were legally entitled to by birth. Her words were crystal clear. She claimed she was raising them with the strict understanding that they would have to work normal jobs for a living. She insisted it was highly unlikely they would ever step into the royal spotlight. The master plan seemed set in stone. Lady Louise Mountbatten Windsor and James, Viscount Severn, were going to fade into total obscurity. They would attend regular schools, live completely outside the royal fishbowl, and carve out private, ordinary lives. Fast forward to this exact moment. That narrative has been completely shattered. James has suddenly stepped into the massive, historic role of the Earl of Wessex, a heavy, prominent title previously held by his father. Let's be brutally honest. You do not hand a teenager an earldom if your actual plan is for him to keep his head down and work a regular 9-to-5 job. This elevation forcefully yanks James out of the shadows and places him directly into the permanent visible structure of the British monarchy. So, what exactly changed? Why did a mother's promise of a normal life suddenly pivot into a highly visible, powerful royal future? The palace refuses to explain this dramatic shift. But when you examine the terrifying reality facing the crown today, the absolute genius of Prince William's strategy reveals itself. The British monarchy is facing a catastrophic numbers crisis. For years, King Charles championed the idea of a slimmed-down monarchy. He wanted a tighter inner circle, fewer working royals, and less burden on the taxpayer. But a slimmed-down monarchy is a dangerous, lethal trap if you suddenly run out of blood to keep the machine alive. King Charles is 76 years old and battling severe health challenges that have already drastically slashed his royal schedule. Queen Camilla is desperately fighting a private, exhausting battle just to remain relevant and not be overshadowed by the younger generation. The legendary Princess Anne remains a pillar of absolute titanium, widely respected as the hardest working royal in history. But even her unbreakable shoulders cannot carry the crushing weight of the crown forever. Prince William and Princess Catherine are the undeniable, dazzling future. But the terrifying truth is, they are only 2 human beings with 3 young children. They simply cannot be everywhere at once. The hundreds of global engagements, the high-stakes diplomatic state visits, and the constant demanding public visibility that keeps the 1,000-year-old institution alive cannot be handled by a skeleton crew. When Prince William looked out across the desolate landscape of available, trustworthy, completely scandal-free royals who could actually step up, his eyes landed directly on Sophie's family. And suddenly, the title elevation for James is no longer a mystery. It is a calculated, strategic military deployment by the Prince of Wales. While the world was completely distracted by loud, toxic royal dramas across the ocean, Sophie was quietly building an empire of absolute respect. She was never just a smiling duchess cutting ribbons at local hospitals. Sophie journeyed into some of the most dangerous, war-torn, and turbulent regions on the face of the earth. She traveled across South Sudan, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Sierra Leone. She stood face to face with the horrors of conflict, dedicating her life to fighting gender-based violence in active war zones, a dark, terrifying subject that the world often chooses to ignore. Her fearless work earned her international accolades, placing her in the exact same humanitarian sphere as global icons. Royal insiders have quietly described Sophie as the monarchy's ultimate secret weapon. The late Queen Elizabeth II knew this better than anyone. She considered Sophie her absolute rock. Their private bond was so profoundly deep that Sophie was the only one allowed to call the formidable monarch mama in public. That level of absolute, impenetrable trust is not handed out lightly. So, when Prince William forcefully approved the elevation of Sophie's children, he was not just being a kind nephew handing out birthday favors. He was rewarding absolute loyalty. He was recognizing that in a monarchy completely traumatized by vicious exits, endless accusations, and toxic tabloid wars, the unshakable, scandal-free reliability of Sophie's bloodline is the most valuable currency on earth. If you truly believe the old narrative that Sophie's children were meant to vanish into private life, the timeline makes zero sense. You do not elevate Edward and Sophie to the massive, historic titles of Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh if you want their branch of the family to disappear. That elevation was a glaring public signal. It moved them from the background shadows directly onto the main stage. And you do not elevate the parents unless you are actively preparing to weaponize the children as future assets for the crown. We are already seeing the execution of this master plan. Lady Louise, once the shyest and least visible of the Queen's grandchildren, is now being carefully, deliberately deployed into the public eye. At the late Queen's funeral, while the world watched in mourning, Louise stood with a chilling, absolute composure. She exuded a regal poise far beyond her young years. Her deep passion for carriage, driving the beloved sport of her late grandfather, Prince Philip, instantly connects her to the deep, traditional roots of the monarchy, while she maintains a modern, flawless grace. And now James, bearing the heavy title of Earl of Wessex, is being strategically positioned in the exact same way. He is no longer just a private citizen who happens to be related to the king. He is a dormant asset, ready to be activated. Together, Louise and James embody the exact holy grail that the British monarchy is desperately starving for. A new generation completely untainted by toxic scandals, raised with profound humility instead of blind arrogance, and shaped by a mother who values grueling work over vanity. The broader, terrifying pattern here is undeniable. Prince William is no longer just waiting in the shadows for his turn to wear the heavy crown. He is operating as a shadow king. He is actively, aggressively shaping the entire institution according to his own ruthless vision, even while his father still holds the throne. Every single public appearance William makes is growing more commanding. His diplomatic meetings with world leaders are no longer ceremonial. They are deep geopolitical negotiations. He is not cutting ribbons. He is acting as the definitive head of state in waiting. By ensuring that Sophie's children are recognized and elevated, William is actively building his own royal army. He is surrounding himself with a fortress of loyal, discreet, and hard-working deputies who will protect his flanks when the ultimate weight of sovereignty finally drops onto his shoulders. The loud, dramatic whispers echoing through the stone corridors of Buckingham Palace are impossible to ignore. Power is flowing in entirely new directions. The monarchy is not collapsing. It is being ruthlessly recalibrated. What makes Sophie's triumph so incredibly compelling is that she never fired a single shot to get here. She never lobbied for her children's advancement. She never leaked complaints to friendly journalists. She just survived. She went to the most dangerous places on earth, gave a voice to the voiceless, and modeled a brand of royal duty rooted in absolute dignity rather than cheap drama. By raising her children away from the toxic poison of royal entitlement, she built a titanium foundation. And now, William is cashing in on that investment. The greatest, most explosive secrets of the British crown are not hidden in dusty archives or locked away in heavily guarded vaults. They are happening right now, completely out in the open, before our very eyes. Silent, subtle, but absolutely impossible to stop. As Sophie celebrates her 60th birthday, the true gift she holds is the quiet, unbreakable promise from the future King of England. A promise that her bloodline will not be erased, that her decades of silent suffering and service have forged the very pillars that will hold the British monarchy together when the coming storms finally hit. The king may still wear the crown today, but make no mistake, Prince William has already taken control of the future. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next update.